Hey everybody, can you see me? I've been talking for 5 minutes and forgot to hit the go live button. This is me trying to stream. Me. Yeah, I'm here for 5 minutes. Okay. All right. And we've got 11 people watching. Okay, this is good. All right. So, I I had so much issues getting the stream started. I kept choosing the wrong account and all this stuff. It's very annoying. But we have things started and we're going to talk about. So let's talk about quickly the premise of this streaming series. I want to ask who's on the Langtime Studio account? Is it both of you or just one of you, or who's talking to me there? But anyway, this is the premise of this streaming series. Is I got an idea of I've been seeing a lot of D&D content. I haven't played for a while, but I want to get back into it. But like, I think David's on the Langtime Studio account. Uh, Given that response. Anyway, so I've been kind of into it. I've been wanting to uh, play it, and one thing that stood out to me as a really great opportunity for some conlanging, and I know other people have done this kind of thing, is and a good opportunity for a series is, so you have a bunch of languages in D&D. You have these standard languages. I I don't care about that. That if I am building a D&D world, I'm going to scrap all of that and just completely redo it because I think it's silly to have one language for each race. It's essentialist, it's outdated thinking, it's not for me. But this I can accept a little bit more. So we have the exotic languages. And these are for, so we have dragons, and then we have a bunch of like what D&D calls the outsiders, the demons, celestials, fae, people, creatures from other, from, uh, yeah, McCain, the elvish, even, even the inspiration from Tolkien, like, is not having elvish for just one elvish, right? But I can kind of buy it for like dragons, definitely for like all the demons and all the celestials. I can deal with those being more of a like a monoculture, partly because they're more alien, but partly because what I'm going to talk about is a lot of these are used for spell casting. So if you look at the classes, like if you are a wizard or a sorcerer, you get Draconic for free as part of your class, right? The implication being that somehow that's useful to arcane spellcasters, right? Uh, if you are a cleric, you can get celestial or infernal, or I guess abyssal, because you might be uh, worshiping a chaotic evil deity. Um, uh, Sylvan, like rangers and druids, I think get Sylvan. So there's this idea that you're casting spells with these languages, and particularly for D&D, there's an interesting thing that all the spells are specifically defined. You have these spells as these specific listed powers that you can gain with levels, right? And they have specific functions and they have specific ways that they're cast. And you have listed there whether the spell has a verbal component, which, for my thinking and for the thinking that I will be doing in this series, is that verbal component for most of the spellcasters. I would say bards are different. Bards probably sing something or do whatever their performance thing is. But like for wizards and sorcerers and clerics and warlocks, I think warlocks could get any of these, right? You are saying some kind of incantation in that language, right? So my goal here, I'm gonna get the plan. Let's work out the plan. So my ultimate goal is write incantations for spells with verbal components, right? And to get there, we're going to start out going through stages. So we'll have a little bit of initial world building, not a whole lot, but just to get my head around some of the questions that we want to ask, right? So we can have the ideas of what sounds can dragons pronounce, how do they conceive of the world a little bit. That a little bit of that will emerge as we're building the language, but it's good to have a little bit of foundation. Next, we're going to go through my standard process, which is we do phonology, we do some morphology / morphosyntax, branching into just broader syntax stuff. I'll talk a little bit about what I'll do in those terms, because it is going to reflect like what do I need for the language I'm making. Then I think maybe somewhere around in here we're going to start on the lexicon, but that's going to be continuously developing through the whole thing, right? Then I'm thinking maybe we'll have some poetry rules, because a spell incantation, very often it's like a couplet, or if you're doing it in English, it rhymes in some way, something like that. Well, this is going to have to come after we've got some morphosyntax worked out, some phonology and some morphosyntax, so we can say, okay, for this language, what kind of poetic rhythms work well? Does it work well with rhyming? Does it work better with rhyming? Or I had the word. What's the word for when it's at the beginning of the word? What's it called? Tabby, what do you mean by druidic? Well, yeah, there's a lot of factors with poetry, but like, alliteration, yes. Like, will we do better with the the rhyme or alliteration, or some other, like some of the like partial rhyme things? Do we like We have to ask, is this language going to have tone or not? Which we'll figure out along the way, because sometimes tones get involved in poetry rules. Somebody, a dragonish language should be clever. Yes. I don't know how clever I can make it. But anyway, at the end of this, I'm not going to do every incantation on screen, but at the end of this series, for at least for the first sort of season where I'm doing Draconic, my what my ultimate goal on screen will be to do all cantrips, all for this one, well, all the relevant cantrips, incantations. So for every arcane cantrip, like every probably wizard, sorcerer, or warlock cantrip that has a verbal component, I will go. I will go through and get. I will go through and get the incantations done for those. So basically, we're going to just be going down the list of probably start with the wizard spell list because that's the biggest one. And that's one reason I chose Draconic. I'll go over that in a second. But we have all the initial work done, and then we're going to go to the cantrips. So why did I choose Draconic is the thing I'll say. Now, I will say, I have been told by several people that Wizards of the Coast has a canon Draconic. I am not going to even look that up. I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to worry about it. This is my Draconic, which we'll eventually get a name for and everything. So don't worry about what exists in any of the canon books. D&D is what you make of it. Everybody makes their own world. I'm going to make a Draconic that other people can use in their worlds. David, I speak Chinese. I can do a tonal language. Dragons could do. I could imagine dragons being able to do something I did with one of my first languages, which is maybe they have a syrinx and they can do a harmonic and do two pitches of a tone at once. But I'm not going to do that because I want you to be able to pronounce it at the table. That's not a thing that I'm going to do. So let's move with this. So we've got Draconic. I chose. McCain. That's why I don't want to look at it. Plus, I just want to make my own thing. So, choosing Draconic, one, it is still one of the exotic languages. I probably will make what is like an old version of Draconic that existed historically and became like the classical Draconic that people teach in wizard school, but is probably only spoken by like the ancient dragons that are thousands of years old. Okay. And so that's probably where I'm setting it. And dragons are gonna be, although they are definitely like physically very not human, they also would be sort of closer to a human perspective. It's easier to start a naturalistic language there. Whereas when I branch out into different like outsiders, then I don't know. I could go crazy. I could do weird, like engineered languages for Celestial. I don't know. But Draconic is going to be somewhat naturalistic, and we can start with something that's familiar to me for my process. Now, so we have that idea. So let's talk about dragons. People are talking about dragons here. I want to come up with a few things before we get started with anything. I want to say a few things about like dragon physiology and dragon culture. So what do we know about dragons in D&D? So we know that there are chromatic and metallic. They come in a number of different colors of each one. We could imagine this language branching into dialects for each type of dragon, but what I'm creating here is like ancient Draconic, so it hasn't branched off there. So, but they might need to have like words for that. We have, these are six-limbed dragons. So we have to think about, this is probably going to be more relevant once we start generating vocabulary. There's but you know, when we're naming body parts, we have to think about like what are these they have claws instead of hands and feet, and they have wings. I'm going to be thinking about, once we get in there, I usually start with the Leipzig-Jakarta list nowadays for my initial vocabulary, but that is like stuff important to humans. Wing is here, though. Wing is on the list, so that is relevant. But like, I think about, well, I'll probably have to like think about, you know, some of these I don't necessarily need as terms. Like, not that we really need it for magical language anyway, but like louse is not necessarily going to be a basic term because they're reptiles. Lice don't attack reptiles; they attack birds and mammals. And so that's just things I'm thinking of. Now, most important to, before we get started here, is what can dragons pronounce? And here is the first thing. Can you guys not see? Can I? I zoomed in. I can increase my font size to. You guys can see here, right? So what can dragons pronounce? So I have. This is the first audience participation that I am going to do, and let's see if I can actually figure out how to make a poll. Let's see. Yeah. How can I make a poll? If I were like a professional, I would have known how to do this in the first place. So let's see. Well, you go to YouTube. Okay. Where I hit go live. Okay, I have the live control room. Oh, this is something I've never seen this before. Why did I not ever know this? So, yeah, so I'm in the live control room. Okay. So the biggest question. Okay, so can I? Oh, start a poll. Okay. So, here's my question. So, we're going to start with one. So, one thing is dragons are reptiles. They don't necessarily have lips as flexible as mammals do. So, my questions are going to be about lip sounds. So, I think let's actually start with, can dragons pronounce rounded vowels? I'm going to start this poll because I think rounding probably is a little bit more flexibility required than bilabial, so we'll start with that, and let's have people do the voting and see why it's okay. We're at 50%. I have to. Okay. Well, we'll see. I see how many viewers I have. We'll see how many votes we get in a few minutes, and we will work at that. And I want to do that before I figure out how many vowels I have, because I don't want to I want to have the moment of knowing whether or not knowing whether or not it's going to be there. So here we go. Everybody, get your votes in. It looks like we have 10 votes in, and we have 12 viewers. So, okay, I'm going to count down. We got one person left. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So it looks like our dragons are not able to pronounce rounded vowels. Now this is going to be trickier than you might think, because when we're talking about the rounded vowels, I have made a language with no rounded vowels, and it's kind of hard to constantly pronounce back vowels with no rounding. So it's going to be interesting. Cannot pronounce rounded vowels in dragon form, because many dragons in D&D can polymorph. They can take on a humanoid form. So that's not a that's a let me so you guys can see here. So dragons cannot pronounce rounded vowels in dragon form. Yeah. So now let's go into, so let's talk about consonants now, because I think a labial consonant, I think if you can't pronounce rounded vowels, you probably can't do a labiodental. You can't do the f. But bilabials, b, b, p, p. I don't know. If you can close your mouth, then you can do a bilabial, probably. Which basically all animals can close their mouth. So that's not such a stretch. But I'll ask you guys here. Let me do another poll. Can dragons, I'll say specifically, Okay. So, two. This is the second of our two major world building questions to get through. I mean, it's important when you start the phonology, right? Okay. Let's see how people think. And we can refine this. Maybe we'll ban like "w" and "w," any like bilabial approximant or something like that. But definitely the stops. If you guys agree, and we've got 10. 10 people up. Let's count down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, everybody ended up voting. And it's overwhelming. I guess my argument prevailed that, yeah. Yeah, now, I'm not actually 100% sure that nasals will work, but I'm going to say right here that they can do nasals and whatever adaptations are necessary to make some sort of weird reptilian thing pronounced nasals are there. So we don't need to worry about that. I was just thinking mainly about labial sounds because lizard mouths aren't quite as flexible as mammal mouths because they don't have to be. So can pronounce bilabials, at least some. So this is good. We've got an interesting restriction in that however many vowels I need to deal with, I can only have unrounded vowels. So we get there. Now, what else? I'm going to put some things that I'm going to have as like for the future digits and this is just one thing I'm going to leave for the future, but I want to mention when we get to counting, I've looked at like the depictions of dragons. I've looked at a few like pictures of D&D dragons online, just Google image search, and it seems to be inconsistent how many claws they have on their forelimbs. So that might be interesting. We might have to think about alternate ways of counting for dragons. I had one way that involved counting like the segments of your finger, but I don't know if that'll work if they don't all have the same number of claws on their talon. Talon on their claw? I don't know. Yeah. So Biblaridian. Yes, okay. Biblaridian, can we consult you as a dragon about dragon anatomy and dragon culture? And then we'll have something I will say is I'm going to sort of this will come in more when we get into like some grammar things and some things. I'm going to sort of assume that dragons are sort of predatory or have a predatory mindset. And that may color some of the things that talons on their claws. So the finger is the talon? Okay. Let's get there. So that's some world building stuff started out. Now I'm going to do. Let's start. Let's actually go ahead and start phonology, so that we can have a basis for this. And for this, I have a treat for you. Since this is D&D themed, you can't have D&D theme without doing some dice work, right? Well, I went on Any Dice and I was cross-referencing walls and figuring out like distributions, and I've gotten I misspelled phonology as a phonetician. That is not good. So I have figured out this is just like the very seed of maybe eventually getting a system for generating conlangs with dice. But I have figured out a combination of dice that'll get you kind of roughly the distribution of consonants and the distribution of vowels. They're not going to be linked, which they are in real human languages, but I can roll for consonants and I can roll for vowels and get the number. So here we go. And my phone is in the wrong mode for some reason. Let's get that fixed. There we go. So you guys can actually see. So consonants are going to be 5d8. So we got 7, 7, 14, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, so 14, so 14, 18, 19, 20, 21, 26. So that's 26 consonants. And I know that this system will not give you, won't give you like the outliers, right? You are not going to get Ubik with this. You're not going to get, I think you can get Hawaiian with this, but maybe Tongan, I'm not 100% sure. But you'll get pretty close. But you get a good distribution of common values. So what did we get? 26 consonants. And now let's see how many vowels and see how screwed I am with not being able to use any rounded vowels. So we're going to turn the phone on again. And for vowels, I roll 3d4. And I just now realized that my phone camera is in front of my face, so there's really no point in my thing being there. So 3d4. So 4, 8, 9 vowels. That's a surprise. Yeah, 4, 4, and 1. So 9 vowels. So I have to figure out how to have 9 vowels. Now this will be like in the initial stage of the language, so I may be able to lose a couple vowels. But I've got to do 9 vowels with no rounded vowels. That's going to be fun. Oh no! If I do a poll of something, that's going to stay canon. That's fine. I will tell you, like, another reason that I'm doing this particular project is I did another project for my Lexember streams, and that language was a bit personal to me. I was like, I'm not totally okay with everybody like having their opinion about what I do here. But for this, it's D&D languages, and it's for everybody, so I'm like, whatever. Tabby, no. Okay, so we are not talking about, so this is vowel qualities. It has to be vowel qualities. So No, yeah. So the way that I made this was based on the distribution of number of vowel qualities. So no, I can't get out of this with length or nasalization or anything like that. It's going to have to it's going to have to be separate qualities. So we have nine vowels. Okay. Now don't have a method to like randomly assign things. Uh, but since we have some time, we can start working on. We get a table, and we can do this. So we need. So let's see. What are your common things? So we can have a T and a K and I don't know. What are like the most common sounds? I may find ways to randomize this. I think I need to find good data on frequency of different sounds and things like that. So we need 26 consonants. So I think since we do have bilabials, we'll definitely have P in there. Yeah, let's do the consonants first, and then we'll work on vowels in a minute if we have time. So let's start with PTK. Do we want to have a voicing distinction? What do you guys think? Let's let's do a poll. Actually, let's do this. Do we want a? Oh my, the fire breathing, that would be very great. That's not going to be in this one because I don't want you to have to eat a magic pepper before you say something. But, oh, what? Here. What kind of laryngeal distinction? Laryngeal distinction. It's just anything that happens in your larynx. So voicing and glottalization and aspiration. So I'm just going to put down here voicing, true voicing. We'll have aspiration. With 26 consonants, I think we could have voicing plus aspiration. I'm a little bit wary of that because it might be hard for some people to pronounce. Let's just stick it with voicing or aspiration, and you guys can choose which one, or you can have none, and then I'm going to have to work harder on the consonants. So, nope, I don't want to add another option. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. So, that's what we're voting on now. Is are we going to have any kind of laryngeal distinctions? It's going all over the place right now. Well, I mean, David, yeah, I'm sure you can't do it. I am not as averse to central vowels as you are, so I might throw a couple of central vowels in. Um, Aspiration is doing well, huh? Now, aspiration, that's where you might end up with breath weapons being accidentally triggered. uh, and also remember, like D&D dragons, they don't just have fire. They can breathe lightning or spit acid or just all kinds of things. Okay. All right. We've got 13 votes and 12 viewers, so I don't know what happened there, but that's the end of that poll. And aspiration actually won. Which, I mean, it's going to depend on what your native language is, how difficult that is. It actually should not be difficult for native English speakers to do because we actually already do it. But this is not the time for that rant. No. If I can remember what the combination is. Yeah, P, T. Can I disable that annoying K? K, K. Oh. K, H, dot. Okay, so we have PTK, pa versus pa. David, aspiration is not that difficult. It's gonna be fine. So we have an aspiration distinction, and let's talk about we have labial. We'll call these dental. We'll just make them dental. Velar. So we've got aspiration. Let's see about. So that gives us 6. We need 26. Dragons, aspiration not easy for dragons. I think they have a human-like larynx. We'll just say this. I will say, well, one dragon language that I have seen, Serena Wesson. Apologies for not being able to pronounce that, but like, it has voiceless vowels and voiceless nasals, which is the same gesture as an aspirated consonant. So that's one version of dragons that can handle aspiration just fine. Okay. Actually, I don't know. It probably has aspiration too. Okay, so we can go ahead and have some fricatives in here. I'm going to make it phi, but one thing I will say, eventually I may put this into like a gaming book, and one DM's note I'll be is like, we'll say is like, don't be too particular with your players about pronouncing it exactly right, unless they're really into that, because that's just not going to be fun for people. How do I do phi? What? That's not F equal. There we go. The phi. I'm just going to say that they can't really do labial dentals. And we'll have an S. We'll have a ch, because every fantasy language has to have a ch. Why? I don't know. They just put it in everything. Insert. And let's see. We'll give ourselves a yeah. That's simple. I'll decide a little bit about whether we're going to do voicing in fricatives after we have some stuff here. So, do we want to have a R? Do we want to have R? I think which R would we want? Okay. I think I want. Let's think about. I like to have Rhotics. You know, we can have. Let's decide which Rhotic we actually want. So this is 9, 10, 11. My gosh, actually 26 consonants is quite a lot. I may have to pull out some extra stuff. Okay, I'm just going to say that we do have the voiced counterparts of the fricatives. Just to the, and do we need the? We can have the for now. The, and the. So that makes 12, 13, 14. Okay. We can have, let's see. We have a ch. It's kind of hard for a lot of people to distinguish ch and the h. So I don't really want to have both of them. We could go with a glottal stop. Do you guys think a glottal stop will be good? Let's see. I'll just put that to a vote. How do you? Let's put that to a vote. Let's just see. It's weird how it shows here. And then we'll have that sort out. I don't know what you could pronounce while actively breathing fire. I think we're not. I don't think we're talking while using breath weapons because, like, maybe you could talk while you're breathing fire or shooting lightning out of your mouth. I don't think you could talk while you're spitting acid. Okay. We've got 13 votes, but there's 14 people watching. Okay, we're going to go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're going to end. And it really doesn't matter because everybody wants a glottal stop. So that's going to be what we're going to do. So we're going to have a glottal stop. So glottal stop. Now we got we've got we've got a shape of a consonant inventory here. Do we want to we've got, so this brings us to 15, and we've got a whole lot more. So there's a couple of different ways that we can get to 26, which is going to be pretty big. One thing is we could add another co-articulation. So we could have labialized or velarized or palatalized. We can probably, I think we can probably do a little bit of this, have a sh, and zh. Let's actually, let's have another question be, do we want to have the fricatives, the affricates, or both? So yeah. Well, I mean, Dutch has aspirated stops and voiced and voiceless fricatives. It works fine. I mean, we could yeah, we can do palatalization. Let's try palatalization. I was not thinking about this, but can I insert well, we'll insert below, insert below, insert below. Dutch has voice stops too? Okay. So we can have p, we have b, p. Yeah, so we'll have this. And we'll just, I don't know if this is the right convention. I don't know if this is how you do this. Whether you put it J. This gives us, we might not need these voiced actually, which is fine. Delete. Let's take those out for now and see if we can do this just with, I think, Okay. Sure. Right. So this actually gives us, let's take out the sh for now, because we have xia. Xia and sh might end up looking the same most of the time. So um, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 15, 18, 21, 2, 3, 4. We just need 2 more. So, did I count that right? We've got 24 consonants now. And we can get yeah, palatalized is different from palatal. It's a phonological difference. So um, let's see. So we need to think of 2 more sounds. People throw out ideas of sounds. We have an R. What do we want to have an L as well? Yeah, we can have an R and an L in this particular language. It's not going to be necessarily that. So throw out ideas. What's another sound I can put in here that is, this is actually like a very highly symmetric system, I realize, which is not bad. That's fine. I could throw a wrench in here by having just throwing a uvular in there, like a caw, caw, caw. Um, but that would be extra weird because it really should have at least the the plain and the aspirated. Uh, oh, I forgot nasals. Did I forget nasals? We might not need that. Why did I not even think about nasals? So how many sounds do we have here? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Um, that's 18, 19, 20, 21. And then we add a row up here. Insert rows above. We can have the M, N, ing, ing, and do we want to do those palatalized too? They don't have to be. Well, let's see. So we've got 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 22, 23, 24. Let's do a funny thing. Let's break a symmetry here, and let's actually say that N gets palatalized. What? I keep doing the sequence wrong. N got palatalized. And M and M, but not nya. That's what I'm thinking too. I'm not sure if this is like statistically common or anything, but I think it feels nice. And it works out. It probably, velar stops often are restricted to codas, but it doesn't have to be for this language. Yeah, I think this works as like an initial thing. And we could do fun things like we could merge this with this in the future, and then it gets kind of wonky. Yeah. So, yeah, nya becomes nya. I can't do the difference between those two. Yeah, that's another thing we could do. It could follow different things. Let's tackle these vowels now. So, insert table. So let's start with the vowel triangle that we all know and love, modified because we are not allowed to have rounded vowels. So we have e, a, and then instead of o, it's how do you? It's like, well, it's right, and then what is the? No, that's. Let me actually just grab that from an IPA chart, because I know what sound I'm looking for here. I just need to like copy and paste it. Why? What's this? This one is weird. Next lag time studio. Control. Just give me the plain text. Next lang time studio, David's gonna be like, they chose the aspirated consonants in Draconic, and whatever this vowel system ends up being, you're gonna have things to say. Oh, you tense and lax distinction. Okay. Oh, thanks, Jonathan. I already got it, but let's see. So I think definitely a schwa can work. I've got 5. I need 9, right? I think a schwa and an uh, 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 uh. I'm never really sure if I pronounce bar I correctly or not. How the heck do I write that? Okay. Give me a bar I from chat. Yeah, so I'm a phonetician. I should know these things better. So we need just two more, right? That's 7 vowels. We need 9. We could just go with the how to there the and the eh. That feels kind of too easy. So you have okay. So Langtime Studio, you said ah. Oh, actually, yeah, we can do ah. Ah. How do I do ah? Ah. When I was teaching undergrad, when I was teaching undergrads linguistics. I actually, when I taught them I actually went specifically into teaching them how to draw it, how to write it, because there's a particular way when you hand write it. You just loop it around, and that actually inspired me to create phonetic calligraphy, which is still up online. I just haven't done anything with it for a long time. Uh, okay, so you're talking about a tense set and a lax set. I don't like this upside down. Uh, I don't actually like this. How do I even write it? That thing? Because I have trouble with that distinguishing it from a schwa. So I don't think I want to use that unless I do it. I could. I can definitely go with an ah, and ah. Mm, yeah. You could do some things. Yeah, actually. Okay. So we have think about yeah. And then what is the lax equivalent of the an eh? Eh. Okay. And then we can have oh, what did I do there? And eh. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do vowel harmony that way, but this is like an interesting, like sort of off kilter system that and delete these rows, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I don't need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 10 now. Let's ah and ah, ah, ah and ah. Let's actually, this is already a bit freaky, so we could just go with a regular ah. How do people sound here? How do people think this? So I think this is what you were talking about, David. I don't know if I'm going to do vowel harmony with this, but it is an interesting set. Yeah, I think this looks nice. I think this works. We can work on more things. So let's delete some columns. And then we've got, so yeah. Yeah, that's true. With a large inventory, vowel harmony becomes very tempting. It's very it's a very nice thing to have. Astro Sky, we're making a language, and it has gotten out of hand a little bit. Um, hmm. Okay, so well, whatever. Approximate. Look, I have a PhD in linguistics, and I focused on phonology, and because of that, all of the I have seen how all the categories are kind of wibbly wobbly, so I don't like. I'm I'm not super like strict on defining terms. Uh, okay. Let's actually let's stop here. Let's actually get another poll in. I want to get you guys opinion on one more thing, and we're going to yeah. Well, I don't know. It could be a glide, and if depending on what R you want. So I'm going to get into my fancy control panel that I should have known happened was a thing, and we'll get a new poll. And what is our Rhotic? And since the symbols are very similar, I will also put the description. So let's go with no. Yeah. Um, I'll just give these. I'll make them all dental alveolar ones, and not worry about retroflexes and all that. So, let's see what y'all think. So we're going to have a tap, ra. We're going to have an approximate, sort of like English, ra, ra. English usually has a retroflex, but or you want to have a trill, ra, ra. Everybody wants me to pronounce trills all the time. I can do that. I speak Spanish. That's fine. Okay. Let's say 10 votes. Okay. I'll give you 10 seconds here. Give you a 10 count. 1, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So, the trill it is. Dragons have a trill. They must have extra flexible tongues. So they can handle doing trills. And so I guess leave it at that. I'll note that this is because I want to be clear with myself. I will actually say that this is the trill R here, just so that I know. And so oh, see you, Jonathan. Have a nice day. Okay, so we've got our inventory, such as it is. And I've got to, I think that at this point, I'm going to have to sit with this and think about how things are going to go together. Well, okay, we can, let's see. It's 5 o'clock. I guess I do need to have phonotactics. I don't have any diphthongs yet. So that's another thing. Are we going to have diphthongs? And then we have, so our base thing you can have is CV. From there you build up. We already have palatalized. So not super into that. Interestingly, this does not get palatalized. So we don't have any kind of ra, 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 like you get in so we can have CV. What kind of codas do we want to have? If we have CVC syllables, what kind of codas do we put in there? We can have just nasal codas, or we could have yeah, actually, I think I'm going to leave this for next time, because I want to sit with this inventory and think about like what the heck happened here, and think about what restrictions that I want to do for phonotactics in order to build this as an interesting system. And I may do a little bit of research to figure out like what languages um, to like figure out what palatalized looks like in terms of phonotactics and things like that. So I think we're gonna stop it here and then pick up next time, work out the phonotactics, and from there we can probably build a few base roots in order to like start getting an idea of how words sound in this language. So thank you all for dropping by and seeing this first episode of Tongues and Runes, working with me to work out Draconic. I will get this document shared on the Patreon so that patrons can take a look at it between episodes. But y'all are gonna have to just like rewatch the video and see what we did. And I guess I'll see you all next week, and we'll have some fun. Okay.